Hi everyone, my name is Todd and I'll be sort of facilitating this session today. And I am a program manager here in the School of Continuing Studies at York University. And really, as a program manager, I look after several programs. I look after obviously this one, which is digital and content marketing. I look after accounting and public relations and new program and information privacy. Full stack web development. So you can kind of see that I look after a lot of different programs in a lot of different areas. So I am not a content expert in content or digital marketing. I don't teach any of the courses. So if you have very specific content questions, I can certainly do my best to answer them. But at the end of the session, we'll have a Q&A. And if I don't know the answer, then I'll have to obviously reach out to an instructor or somebody to get the information and get back to you after. But really the main goal, or my main goal, is to ensure that you guys have a successful learning experience. So I look after the instructors, I look after sort of marketing, obviously budgets and that good stuff. And I look after the curriculum at a high level to make sure that it's going to be a solid program and really be a program that's current and relevant, and going to make sure that you guys, when you finish, you're going to be able to sort of step into the work world and hopefully add value back to an organization. So as you probably know, there are three programs that we offer. We offer a program in just digital marketing, which is 3 courses. And you can see on the screen there, there's the arrow pointing to those courses. And I won't go through the details of each course and what they're about, but the digital program is a fundamental course. There's marketing, search engines, and social media, which is like SEM and SEO stuff. And then there's about user engagement and automating the process for digital marketing. So that's a standalone program, 3 courses, and that's in the blended format. Then we have a standalone program, which is just the content marketing courses. So this includes the planning analysis for content marketing, which is really like the fundamentals course. There's creating content, and then there's how you promote and amplify your content to sort of put it out there for people to sort of see and read and hear and all those things. So again, 3 courses in digital, 3 courses in content. These 2 programs are in the blended format, which is mostly online, and 1 weekend block. So for each course, you'll be coming to York, spending a Saturday and a Sunday with us from like 9 to 4. And that's for each course, there's 1 weekend block. So in total for the program, you're coming to campus 3 times. And that's a requirement of the program, okay? Then if you're interested in doing the full-time program, this is basically a combination of the digital 3 courses, the 3 courses in content, and we've added 2 other courses. One's in the fundamentals of marketing, and one is business in the digital age. And those are 2 fundamental courses. A lot of times people who are in the full-time program maybe have less experience. They're not ready to dive as deep into the digital or content space. So we want to provide that foundation so they understand marketing and branding and consumer behavior and pricing and all that good stuff. And also have how marketing fits into the business world, because obviously marketing is a component of the business world. So understanding how it fits in with HR and finance and budgets and those kinds of things is equally as important. So we have those 2 courses to round out the program. So when you graduate, if you're sort of new to the field, you have a much better sense of marketing, business, and then delving deeper into the content and digital marketing topics. So that's how that program works. And that program is full-time. So there was a question, actually, I see a question, Jessica. Jessica is asking if the full-time is available for international students. And the answer to that question is yes. So this is the program that really is designed for international students, because it's 1 academic year, which allows you to get your study permit, which allows you to get a work visa after. So this is the program that international students would be taking. Unfortunately, the 3 courses in digital or the 3 courses in content, there's just not enough content there for you to get a study permit. Diana's asking, so I'll answer some of the questions since I see in there. So they're going fast. Hold on. Let me just expand my screen here so I can see the questions a bit better. Okay, so the full-time is basically 7+ months. So it's 1 academic year, which is what you need to get your study permits, and it runs typically from September through April. We'll probably next year offer a January term as well, but for the moment, it's just the September one. Ganeek is asking about applications. So the applications for this program, they're open already. They just opened in December. I believe late December, early January. So they are open. You could go now and apply. If that's not the case, let me know, but I'm pretty certain that's the case. I'll answer one more question, then I'll get into some of the details after. So Gary's just asking which weekends are for the in-class for the 3-course digital or the 3-course content. Typically, those are determined by the instructor, but for most of them, they're in the 2nd week. That's just the way it's laid out. But if you go onto our website, they may not be there yet because we're still trying to determine that for the courses that are next year. But that information should already be there for the winter one, if that's the program you're already enrolled in, and it should be there for the spring. If not, I'll make sure it gets up there ASAP. Okay, so let me just talk a little bit about the blended format, just so that's clear to people, and then I'll talk about the full-time format in a little more detail. So as I said, the blended is 7 weeks online and 1 weekend face-to-face. It's direct entry, so there's no application required for you to do the digital marketing or the content marketing 3-course program. They're 8 months in length, and it's 1 course at a time. So you take 1 course, it finishes, and you start the other course. All of our programs are cohort-based, and what we mean by cohort-based is the same students who are in course 1 are the same students in course 2 and course 3. And if it's the full-time, it's 4, 5, and 6. And really, what's nice about the cohort model is that you get to actually build some nice relationships with the other students. That's for studying, that's for maybe networking in the work world, that's for peer support. If you're international student, you come to Canada, you're obviously maybe some built-in friend network, because obviously you're with these students 4 times a week. So it really is a nice model, especially from the networking perspective. They are graded assignments and projects and things, and our instructors are practitioners. So they're not full-time faculty on campus who do research. They're practitioners who work in the field. They're senior practitioners, so they're very up to date on what's current and what's trends are out there, so that they incorporate that into the learning, so that you're always sort of 1 step ahead of others. Here's, going back to your question, Gary. So here's an example of what a blended schedule looks like. So the first week you're online. The second week you would come to York for the Saturday, Sunday, and the rest you would do online, and then you would have a break, and then the next course would take place. Now, again, the weekend block is not always the second week, but typically it's been that for the first offering. So now here's what it looks like if you're studying in the full-time program, which is the 8 courses. So you're in class basically 4 days a week, and you're taking 2 courses at a time in what we call blocks. So let's just say, as an example, come September, you'll be in Fundamentals of Digital Marketing and the Business in the Digital Age courses. Those are the first 2 courses. You can see that you're in the same course on Monday and Wednesday, and the business course on Tuesday and Thursday. The time will be the same for the duration of the program. So for all 8 courses, you're at 3:30 to 6:30, so you can plan your schedules, your life, your work, your family commitments, babysitting, whatever the case may be. You'll know that that's the set schedule for the duration of the program. The room is also the same, so again, you guys can not have to think too much about that. On Friday, there's no classes, so you have time to explore Toronto, work, just take a break, whatever the case may be. Each course meets for 6 weeks, so there's actually 12 sessions, which is a total of 36 hours, contact hours per course. For the full-time version, like I said, they're in 3-hour blocks. This program does have an application, which I think Unique had mentioned or asked about, and you have to have a college diploma or degree. There is a statement of interest to make sure it's the right fit for you, and it's a minimum of 6.0 for IELTS, so just keep that in mind. Okay, all right. Let me just take you to the website to show you a couple of things, and I'll come back and answer all of your questions. Okay, so I think everybody can sort of see my screen here. This is just the digital marketing webpage, which I'm sure you've all been to. There's some information about job growth and salaries and stuff, which is the reason why we developed the program, because we think there's a big need. The digital marketing program in particular has been selling out, which has been amazing. But this term, we have 50 students in that program for January, and it's sold out. For the full-time program, which was in September, we had 25 students, which was great. And for the content marketing, it was a little smaller. We had about 15 students. So that content on its own, the 3 courses, that was just 15 students. Okay. Anyway, so here you can kind of choose the program you want, and I'll just show you one program, but the concepts and the way the website is set up, it's all the same. Actually, you know what? Let's just go. Yeah, it's not. So here's the certificate in digital marketing. It's the 3 courses. There again, it's the video, some of the same statistics. There's some more information on what you'll be learning in this program, sort of who should take the program, some of the outcomes. All the programs were developed by an advisory council, like experts in the field. So we kind of made sure it was on trend and learning the what's most important happening now in the field. And here are the courses. So here, like the descriptions of the courses give you a little more information. Again, for all the different programs, you'll find the same information. If it's the content, there'll be a similar drop-down menu. Okay, our policies. If you scroll to the top, and you scroll to the enroll button, you can see now that the only programs that are available are the summer and the fall. The winter one is already dropped off because it's full. If you click on it, you can get more information about the program, which is great. There are the details, there are the dates and stuff, and there are also the dates for the weekend blocks. So somebody was asking about that earlier. So you can kind of plan your life accordingly, okay? So that all the information is there. So you can kind of peruse that. And this one, again, is direct enrollment, so you just apply. If you were to go back to our main page, show you one more thing, then I'll answer all your questions. Sorry, I'm just scrolling a lot here. So here's the full-time program. And again, if you click on the enroll button, instead of it saying register, it says apply. So you have to apply, fill out the application form, which is, like I said, just some personal information. There's a statement of interest, and there's the IELTS and stuff like that. You can see that there's different fees for international students and domestic students, so make sure you apply for the correct program, but that's how that works. At any point, you can sort of send an email or click on the talk to our team, and that you can connect with them to answer all of your questions. So that's kind of all I wanted to share with you today about the program. And now I'll go through all your questions. There's quite a few, which is great. So I will do that. So let me just go back to my PowerPoint deck. Okay, so I'll leave this slide up here unless I have to jump to something to show you. But basically, this is some of the contact information that you might find helpful. Elsbeth is our advisor, who you may have already spoken to. She's wonderful and can answer all of your questions. Kamel is our registration coordinator, so if you have questions around anything around payments and registration, your application, you can speak to her. You can come to the office, you can call the office, you can email those guys. If you do want to come to the office, we do suggest you call first just to make sure, in case maybe somebody's not available to talk with you. So I'll leave that up while I just go through all your questions. Chinakia is asking about payments. So how soon do we have to make the fees for full-time courses, and do we have to pay the entire fee in one payment itself? No. So the way that works is you have to pay a deposit to secure your spot. Once the offer is issued, I think you have 2 weeks to accept it. Then you, in that time, you have to pay at least a deposit, and you have to pay the course in full before it begins. So that's in, let's say now September, but you can make, let's say you pay $5,000 deposit and you have, let's say, $10,000 remaining. If you're an international student, you could pay $1,000 a month leading up to the program beginning. You could pay it all in one fell swoop. You can pay it, at the end of August. The payment has to be made in full before the program begins, but as long as you pay the deposit, you have that time to sort of pay the remaining balance. So hopefully that answers that question. Okay, so Nigwizzy, hopefully I didn't get that too wrong there. So this person has IELTS scores, but they went to a school where the language was of study was in English. If that's the case, then you're actually exempt from the IELTS. So if you went to a school and studied at least a year in English, then you don't have to worry about the IELTS. So when you apply, just make sure that Carmel is aware of that, or the registration team is aware of that, and they just make a note that you're exempt, and then you don't have to worry about the IELTS at all. So you should be fine there. Oh yeah, so Jessica's asking about the TOEFL exam, which is like the IELTS, if you're not familiar with the TOEFL. I'm not an expert in that, but I know for the IELTS, I'll give you I'll talk to the IELTS, which I assume will be similar for the TOEFL. So you have to have a minimum of 6.0. On our website, there's an equivalent sort of chart which tells you what the minimum is for the TOEFL score. And if you have a very low score in reading and a super high score in speaking, that we may have to have a little discussion about, whatever the case may be. But if it's an overall 6.0, you should be fine. So don't sweat that. Okay, so Mario is asking, how competitive is the full-time program, and how many students will be admitted for the fall? So last term, we accepted 25 students. I'll be very honest with you, I received more applications than that, and some of those students just weren't the right fit for the program, so they weren't accepted. So I do make sure that the program is a good fit for people, because I want to make sure that they're studying for the right reasons. In terms of how many students, I think I have room for up to 40 or something. So there should be plenty of room. But if you're thinking of applying, I would definitely apply sooner than later, because this now will be our second offering of the program. And I assume I'll receive a lot more applications this time around. So I should be closer to full when September comes around. So hopefully that answered your question, Mario. Okay, so Gary's asking, for the digital marketing or content marketing certificates, how strict are requirements with regards to work experience? If I'm understanding your question correctly, Gary, there are no work experience requirements for the admission. So I was only asking it just to get a sense of where people fit in their background in marketing. but it's not part of the application process. So it's really just the degree and the IELTS and things like that. And then there's a statement of interest of why you want to do this program. And that's where I sort of look to make sure it's the right fit. If you've been working in the field, then obviously it's a very good fit. If you've been a civil engineer, maybe in your home country or something, and your motivation is to just come to Canada, may not be the right fit. So that hopefully answers your question, Gary. Will the class have a fixed time from 3:30 to 6:30 from Monday to Thursday when there's a winter break generally? Okay, so yeah, so Rahul, typically this program has been running from 3:30 to 6:30, and I think that's the schedule. If you look online, I think I showed you that earlier, you can sort of see the schedule and the times and stuff and the dates, but I'm pretty certain we'll keep the time the same. That seems to work for my instructors, and students seem to be fine with it. Other programs have other time slots that will probably, again, keep the same. So from that perspective, 3:30 to 6:30 is the time that should be the one for September. Winter break, it goes from usually mid-December to, actually classes will be starting on Monday. So we usually give you that first week back for us to kind of get back in the office in the swing of things. So usually it's, like I said, from mid-December to that first week of January. Again, if you go to the website and click on that enroll button, it'll give you the specific dates and you can kind of plot it out yourself. All right, guys, so I'll shut it off. Have a wonderful afternoon. And if you have more questions, please reach out to us. We're happy to help. Enjoy the afternoon, and thanks again. Bye, everyone.